ground objective this session, and at the same time, we are available in representing the CC Finance, who unfortunately has been called urgent in Nairobi, giving all the his opening remarks.
To do some kind of just leading the delegation in terms of doing some introduction. In case we are going to change in between, you will be notified, but we shall move as per the program. After the introductions, we are going to have some short presentations or briefs.
National Council of Population and Development based in Garissa County. Asanteni sana.
So, we were actually, we wanted to engage the MCAs in support to population issues. That means when we look at population, Garissa County, the poverty levels is high, the unemployment rate is high. When you look at even the fertility rate is also high. And everything that we planned as per our county integrated development plan, that is the CIDP, of which we are currently implementing, we are implementing the CIDP based on the population issues. So each and every project that we are undertaking must be geared towards certain kind of the target population. It was a kind of sensitization that covered almost all the sectors, but basically we wanted the support of the Garissa County Assembly in moving forward in making sure that population issues are well catered for. Government policy is very clear. We are not saying the people should stop giving birth, but the government wants the people or the community to slow down the growth rate, because the growth rate is currently high. So the government is urging the local leaders, especially the MCAs, to help us in making sure that the people are well sensitized, they are well educated, so that they know the need for population issues. This means each and every family, according to the household survey, each and every family should give birth to a population or the people or the children that they can be able to manage by themselves without seeking support from anybody or from the government. As for the Ministry of Finance, as you know, the department where I come from is Finance and Economic Planning. We have put in place all the necessary plans in place because the CIDP has to be implemented, but it has to be implemented based on what was planned, which means we are going to implement it in terms of annual development plan, where while looking at the Vision 2030, and we are going to combine it with a medium-term plan that is from the national government. So we are going to do it in a kind of multi-based approach, so that the national government representatives at the county level and the county government itself teams up together, so that the the resources that will be allocated from the national treasury will be put into use, so that we see that our population issues are well catered for.
There is fundamental contradiction in the government. On one hand, the government is saying that resources will be allocated based on population. On the other hand, they are talking about family planning and these things. So we told them the major incentive today for population growth and the encouragement, the motivation for population growth is the issue of national resource allocation. We said these things should be handled in such a way that there are so many parameters that should determine resource allocation. In a way that is balanced. The issue of land size, that's 1 man, 1 kilometer. The issue of poverty, the issue of even climatic conditions. These things should be factored in the population growth. The issue of even natural phenomena like water bodies and these things should be factored in, so that if place is asal, there are no water bodies, large water bodies, they are not, the land is not so much, has not so much potential. This thing should be factored. We also told them they need to have a thinking outside the box, such that as a National Council for Population and Development, they try to push for issues that will spur economic growth. Like for instance, they have some focus on TVET institutions, technical training institutions, so that the youth can gain skill and as a result be contributing to the economy. You see that. We have also talked about in our place here, one of the issues that is in our domain and that we are going to go back to is the issue of the land security system here. Here, despite having so much land, there is a lot of marginalization initially before the devolution from the national government, to the extent that our people were not given title. It's a problem. It's still a problem. So we said we need to have this, because for you to attract a serious investor, you need to have security for the land that is going to make investment on. These are the issues we discussed. The issue of reproductive health, maternal mortality, these statistics were presented and they were shocked to us. These are issues that we are going to go back to and develop legislation based on the same. The issue of reproductive health, as I said, maternal death, maternal mortality or death, whatever you call it, this issue. And then, and also, going forward, we are also going to closely scrutinize the budget for the health department, so that we see to the extent which they have factored these issues that are on our focus today. Yeah.
And the owner, Bomba Kenya, is hosting that international conference after 25 years, which is being held here in Kenya, November from 12 mpaka 14. So the UN agents, the UNFPA, and the government of Denmark. So hiyo timu yote ya UN wote wamekutana pale NSFI resort. Wamesema hapa kwa sababu hii ni watu wakubwa waheshimiwa, hatutaki kuenda ile masomo ya darasa, tunataka tuende yale mambo yani kisamari.
And also brothers and sisters from the roots of God. And as we all know, I think if I can ask here generally, wale wetu wamesikia hili shirika linaitwa MCDB hata machache. Sio wajua? Hili shirika linaitwa MCDB, so that at the end of the day we attain some sort of sustainable development. As we know, population is an indicator of development. So if we want, we have so many issues that are related to population, health and environment, but the issues are not being well addressed, just because local leadership, they haven't considered them to be key issues towards issues of development. And as National Council for Population and Development, our main concern is to have a quality population. A quality population is a component made up with various subsets. We have population itself, we have health issues, we have environment issues. And having interacted with the annual development plan, particularly for the Ministry of Health and also the planning department, to be able to interact with members of the county assembly, being the legislative arm, so that if we get their support, we are sure that if those issues are included in these county budgets, they go to assembly, we get the approval, they will be able to attract resources from the local or the county coffers. The biggest issue is that Garissa County has poor demographic indicators. In fact, demographic and health indicators. We are talking about contraceptive prevalence rate of 5.5%. We are talking about poverty level of over 60% of the total population are living below poverty level. And as we know from the demographic point of view, poverty breeds children. Because when you are poor, you have no economic alternatives in life. The only alternative as a couple you have is that time for each other, thus giving birth to many children. So this issue of advocating to religious education, issues of advocating to political support, to policy makers for support, and the rest is a common mandate that we are doing, and that's why today we have had this successful meeting. I'm saying we have had a successful meeting because we have been able to come up with key way forward, and among them is that now we have clear support from the county assembly. And also, they have agreed with us that they will go and develop key legislations, which once they are anchored in the county assembly, they will be able to attract resources so that we are able to run population health and environment programs. And to me, that's a key factor. How we shall be going down there to meet different calibers and different cadres of people. We shall be looking forward to meet religious leaders. We also need to see their perspective and how important we can be able to make sure that all of us, all leaders in the county, be it opinion leaders, local leaders, religious leaders, political leaders, and decision makers, we are talking about people of Garissa leading a quality life. And by doing that, involving religious leaders will be a key area we need to focus on as an organization.